theme this year is the biggest driver of travel, business movement. We will talk about the Corporate Travel Outlook 2016. It looks good. Every year begins good, and then we have to see how it pans out. However, 2016 definitely has some good things going for it. With the dwindling winds of the global financial crisis no longer blowing companies off course, budgetary allocations for business travel have returned to the company ledger in a big way. The GBTA, that is the Global Business Travel Association, says that companies around the world will spend $1.25 trillion on business travel alone in 2016. Now this gets interesting because GBTA goes on to record across the globe only modest increases are expected in cost per attendee per day and group size, with the exception of Asia Pacific, which will see a 5% increase in cost and an 11% increase in group size. Strong demand from China and India is the major driver for the region's increasing cost and group size. For India, 2014 showed growth. The GDP was 6.7% of total GDP, and it was around about rupees 642.5 billion. In 2015, this grew by 7.5%. It reached 16.587 billion rupees, and it shows that things are moving up. India, being a highly populated nation, has got more disposable income and obviously offers a massive potential for both outbound and domestic travel. And given the growth in GDP as well as private financial consumption, the number of departures is forecasted to reach 24.4 million by 2018. And of course, domestic tourism is the big thing that everybody is investing in right now. Outlook: the top line pricing for air, hotel, ground is surprisingly stable. However, hotspots start with India. Okay, so India, China, Colombia, Mexico, Singapore, Australia. These are projected on the top list. But while the total market has risen, all companies are budgeting. They're pinching pennies, definitely, when it comes to cost per trip. So the trips, numbers and size increase, but the price line is being held very tightly. The important new trend, centralized booking systems, they're now the norm in the corporate world, and definitely on-the-road expenses need to be rigorously qualified before being reimbursed. So corporate companies are not just tightening up on the travel, but also in-house. Upgrades, whether it is room or cabin class flights, those are the first perks to be removed. However, on the flip side, the same penny-pinching businesses are leaving a potential gold mine of savings which are still unexplored, and this is being leveraged by the sharing economy, by players like Air, B&B and Uber. Further trends for 2016 points again for incidental expenses, which corporate clients are tracking relentlessly. All right, so these include your meals, car rentals, mobile services, and apparently 10 to 14% of a client's travel budget comes out of this. So that's being tightened up. And the corporate travel managers are looking for providers that have add-on meals or complementary car services, Wi-Fi, anything that would be useful in taking a decision. Low-cost carriers, they should come as no surprise. Up to 73% of corporate customers are now regular low-cost carrier users. Going digital, again, Online bookings make up about 40% of total travel bookings. Corporate managers are going digital to keep tab of executives and the itineraries in one place by adopting the corporate booking tool, CBT, to streamline processes. And 73% of corporate travel companies globally are already implementing these tools. Small and mid-sized hotels are going digital, and obviously mobile devices in particular, as well as online players, they have moved their presence upwards dramatically. 80% of local searches on mobile devices convert into purchases, so that becomes important. And recognizing this massive unorganized hotel market, everybody's aware. You have companies like Stay Bazaar, Oyo, Zostel, Zo, Woodstay, Fab Hotels, Tribo, etc. They're all riding on the back of technology and providing app-based conveniences. However, what could impact the travel of 2016 would include terror, threat to travel security, which is a key concern for all travel, as well as outbreak of any disease and natural disaster. If you have a sluggish economy in Brazil, Russia and China, which could be on the cards, that could impact travel as well. Hotels, important, globally show an increase in hotel prices and rates by 3%. India is supposed to also even out by the end of this year with the similar kind of growth. Domestic demand in India continues to be higher, with more than 1 billion domestic tourist visits. And India, after China, is considered one of the most lucrative hotel markets in the world and has the second largest construction pipeline in Asia. And large global brands consequently remain committed to India. Budget hotels are best placed to take advantage of the current value for money demand, while luxury and upscale hotels are shifting focus to domestic demand while building international presence and also promoting luxury properties as total destinations. Very briefly, these are the key drivers for 2016, and we will then take this forward when we have the corporate panel discussion, when each of the companies will be talking on the ground as to what are the drivers for corporate travel in 2016, and followed, of course, by Ashwani Kakkar's speech on what lies 2016 and beyond in the global corporate travel outlook for the year.